talk about a philosophical experiment called the experience machine. And would it be cool if I talked some
Yeah,
more about?
go
All
ahead.
right, so
We
the
got time.
experience machine is based off of an American philosopher. His name was Robert Nozick. He was
Hmm.
a professor at Harvard. He was registered with the APA, American Philosophical Association. And he said basically something along these lines. It's been a while since I've given this pitch, so
Hmm.
I'm paraphrasing. Um, he said, "There's this machine. Think of it as a machine that can connect to your brain some sort of way. Like if anybody's seen The Matrix, you know how like they're in this little goo and they have these little nodes on their
Oh yeah,
head
yeah.
and it puts them in the simulation. Like that's the gist of the structure of the experiment. And what this machine does is it responds to different chemicals in your brain, different thoughts that you're having, and it creates a simulation based on what you want.
Okay.
So the goal of the experience machine is that ultimately it can make you the happiest person you can ever be. And it's crazy to think about because there's when something is as vague as this, as powerful as this, there's little to no counter argument.
Hmm.
Because when the ultimate question is why wouldn't you go in the machine? Would you go into the machine? And the thing is if you don't want to go into the machine, but you go in
Yeah.
the machine can create a reality in which you did not want to go into the machine.
Right.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
paradoxical in a way because no matter what you choose, no matter what you want, the machine can give it to you.
Hmm.
So there's really no to it. There's no con to it, and
Yeah.
it's ridiculous in that way. But as interesting as that experiment is, I wanted to connect it to something, right? It's
Hmm.
just a thought experiment. How can I implement this into real life? How
Yeah.
can I make it something that's relatable or understandable to more people, right?
Hmm.
So I try to tackle something that astrologers are trying to figure out today, biologists are trying to figure out today, something called Fermi's paradox. What Fermi's paradox has to deal with is that if the universe is ever expanding, if it's infinitely big, and we're just one small planet in the midst of a galaxy of billions of trillions of stars, how come we haven't encountered any life, any radio signals, anything?
Hmm.
Not only in our own solar system, but in our own galaxy, in our own sector of the universe.
Yeah.
We haven't encountered anything at all. And it's called Fermi's paradox. So there's tons of different hypotheses, theories. There's no definitive answer as to why we haven't encountered anything. But one of my favorite hypotheses that integrated something that was similar to this experience machine is a tongue twister. It's called the aestivation hypothesis, right?
Aestivation.
Aestivation hypothesis. Yeah,
Okay.
you can imagine how fun that was to say on a
Yeah.
stage. So what the aestivation hypothesis says is that any type of life, any type of life that wasn't on Earth, an alien life per se, for lack of better words, would if they were sophisticated, if they were powerful enough to reach us from their point in the galaxy, they would already have the technology, the sophistication, the education to create an experience machine.
Hmm.
So if they reach that certain point in their societal development, they would no longer have this desire to explore other parts of the universe
Yeah.
because that would only endanger their own existence. There's no benefit to exploring other portions of the universe if you have everything in the palm of your hand to make you happy.
Hmm.
So it has this very intricate diagram and explanation, like an experience machine that's powered by geothermal energy. It's like
Yeah.
ridiculous, right? But the crux of it, the pitch is that from womb to tomb, you are able to have maximum happiness. You can achieve maximum happiness. The concept of hedonism, and hedonism is the belief that as a species, as humans, as a life form, our goal is to be the happiest we can possibly be.
Yeah.
That is the crux of all of our decisions, right?
Hmm.
But the con of hedonism is that I can't just go do whatever I want in the world, right? Because there's
Hmm.
consequences to others. I can't, like, if my goal was to steal a candy bar, I can't just walk in a store and steal one.
Hmm.
Like that wouldn't work. But in the experience machine, you can do whatever the hell you want. And
Okay.
there's no real consequences because you're in your own little bubble, in your own universe. So the consequences you're having to other people, the detriments to other people, doesn't exist. Those other people don't exist.
So the experience machine is like a idea, like a belief
Right.
that if this could happen, then it would be like people would do anything they want. Yeah.
Right. If theoretically, if the experience machine existed, then all normal life would cease to exist as well because
Mhm.
everybody would just want to be in a machine.
Yeah.
Like you can be in a machine where you're not in a machine. Like, like what would
Yeah, it could be
it's
like
ridiculous.
exactly the same, but you could do whatever you want
Right,
to
exactly the
anywhere.
same.
Yeah.
And the thing is it's not even consciously, it's subconsciously. It connects to your brain and gives you whatever you want.
Mhm.
So if it can ultimately fulfill your deepest, darkest desires, whatever you want it to be, and then it could switch in the moment of in the change of an instant, and it could
Yeah.
be the new thing that you want.
Mhm.
So you can never get bored of it, and it's just a very, very interesting experiment. And
Yeah.
it definitely answers the reason why we haven't discovered sophisticated alien life. It's
Mhm.
because they don't want to be discovered.
All right. That's a theory, I guess.
It's
Yeah.
a theory, and
Yeah.
it's just so wild.
I know.
And I'm believe me, I'm not telling anybody to put on their tinfoil hats and start preaching the aestivation hypothesis. But the fact was, TEDx is a platform, a global platform where you're able to talk about these crazy ideas and these different connections you've been able to make, and then you share them with others.
Mhm.
So in high school, I was able to share them with the 150 people in the auditorium, and
Yeah.
it posted it on YouTube, and I was able to share it to an even broader audience.
Yeah.
And it was no, it was so much fun to do. And I made a Prezi, and it was really
Mhm.
fancy, and I had tons of people ask me about more information, how they thought it was interesting, how it's just like
Yeah.
you can, at this point, we have so much knowledge as a species that we can create these wild, intricate theories.
I know.
And it's fascinating. It's
Where'd
absolutely
you,
fascinating.
if I may ask, where'd you hear about this theory or this idea?
This
Yeah.
idea, so IB, once again, your junior year, they make you take a class called Theory of Knowledge.
Oh,
It's
okay.
an epistemology class. Epistemology is like, how do you know what you know? Like,
Oh, so it like delves into the deeper why of
right,
things. Yeah.
right. It's the study of knowledge. That's what it really is.
Mhm.
So in this class, we briefly talked about it in a unit, the experience machine, and it was a sort of like a segue from, we talked about the experience machine, then we went into like the how do you know if you exist, like the Descartes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, do you have hands? Like,
Yeah.
are you just a brain in a jar kind of thing?
Uh-huh.
So that was what we used to
Are you
segue.
controlled by robots or something?
Right. Yeah. No, it's
Yeah.
oh man, that's a whole nother thing to get into. But no, we talked about it for like half a day, and it's just like when we went on in the unit, I'm like, bro, this is really cool. Why are we sleeping on this?
Yeah.
I wanted to go back and learn more about it. I studied it. Back